I want to give a special shout out to all my patrons, my Bibliospran, Bibliohowlers, and Bibliomancers. Thank you so much for supporting my hobby and passion even more. It means so much to me. Hi everyone, Petrik here. Today's video will be my November book haul. So today is the end of November, and today's video will be the penultimate book haul video before we reach the end of the year. So 2023 is near, absolutely insane. And well, this month I received quite a massive amount of books, because this month I received 23 books. 23 books is a huge amount of books to receive in one month, and I'm truly glad to receive all these books this month. I will show you now. And I'm telling you this, some of the books that I got this month are absolutely gorgeous, and a few of them are insanely expensive. So let's get started. And like usual, I will start from the books that I bought first. And like always, I have managed to actually maintain my control in buying books, because this month I only bought 2 books. Yes, I only bought 2 physical books, and one of them is actually this one. Death Note short stories by Sugumi Oba and Takashi Obata. This is like a collection of short stories in the universe of Death Note. Death Note is one of my favorite manga, one of my favorite anime. And after I found out about the English translation, about the existence of this edition, I immediately bought it. I have already read this one. I really enjoyed it. And if you're a fan of Death Note, this collection of short stories work really well as a parting gift to the fans of the series. And you should read it if you're a fan of Death Note. And the other book that I bought, this is again on a discount, and this is Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. In my previous book haul video, I already showed you that I got the second and third book in this trilogy, Bring Up the Bodies and also The Mirror and the Light. And then this month, apparently, this book, which is the first book of the trilogy, went on a discount, so I immediately bought it. So now I own the entire trilogy to the Thomas Cromwell trilogy, or in other words, the Wolf Hall trilogy, and I look forward to reading this trilogy someday. I've heard so many great things about Hilary Mantel's books, especially on this particular trilogy. And as I said before, I have very little knowledge regarding this period of time that is told in this historical fiction series. And now moving on to the books that I got from my friends, and the first one that I got is Empire of the Vampire, the illustrated edition by J. Christoph. So this is pretty much just like the standard Empire of the Vampire, except that every content in this book is fully colored. So yes, all the interior artworks in this one, about like 30 of them. If I'm not mistaken, there is about 30 interior artworks here. I've read the book, and all of them are fully colored and they are gorgeous. Excluding the map, every single artwork inside Empire of the Vampire is illustrated by Born Ortweg, and this is an example. Look how pretty it is, fully colored. And I know that this pretty much has become kind of like a special edition to many fantasy books, because not many fantasy books has received this many illustration in the single book, and this comes with all of them fully colored. So thank you so much to TS, one of my co-bloggers, for sending me this book. Every single year, me and the crew at Novel Notions pretty much do a Secret Santa thing. Regardless of who get who in the Secret Santa, my co-blogger TS always become a fairy godmother and got us, all of us, a gift. And this is a gift from her. And this one looks gorgeous. And I definitely will use this copy of Empire of the Vampire to reread someday when the second or maybe when the third book of the trilogy is out. And then the last book that I got as a gift this month is a copy of a Game of Thrones Folio Society edition. I received this one from one of my patrons, AdiRaven, and I'm truly grateful, because this has always been one of my most coveted special edition. And now not only I have a copy of the Way of Kings Dragonsteel edition sent to me by a very kind viewer, and now I also own this one. I'm just blessed as a reader, and I really love this special edition. My itch to reread A Song of Ice and Fire has been growing stronger and stronger lately, and I think I will definitely use this copy of a Game of Thrones Folio Society edition to do my reread of the first book, at least, unless I somehow manage to end up with the second book as well. But this edition is super expensive. I have done an unboxing video of me unboxing the special edition, and I will leave the link to that video in the description down below. But suffice to say that a Game of Thrones Folio Society edition that also comes with a map here is one of the most beautiful and luxurious edition of books that I own and that I've ever seen. Super stunning. Folio Society has done such an excellent job on producing this special edition. Now moving on to the third out of fourth section of this book haul video, and that is to show you all the self-published fantasy books that I got this month. And speaking of being blessed earlier, I am truly blessed with this copy of Conspiracy by A.C. Coble. This is the first book in Warhide series. I think this will be a 5 or 6 book series by A.C. Coble. I haven't read anything by A.C. Coble yet, but I know that he has released at least 15 books. I think this is actually his 16th epic fantasy book. So yeah, I have a lot to catch up on, but this one, the cover art by Daniel Kamarudin, looks absolutely beautiful. I really love the design being done here. The design is, as always, done by Sean T. King, and the cover design plus the cover art just looks phenomenal. And right now, the campaign for Revenge, the second book in the series, is currently live on Kickstarter, and I think if you're interested in giving the series a try, you should definitely take a look at the Kickstarter, because this edition is actually super gorgeous. So not only the cover art is done by Daniel Kamarudin, and then there are plenty of interior artworks by Felix Ortiz. Oh, and also every single chapter begins with a black page like this one. It looks beautiful, and here I'm going to show you a few of the interior artworks here. This is one of them. This is the first one. And then I'm going to show you the second one. And this is the second piece of interior artwork inside this book. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there are about 10 artworks inside this book, and all of them are done by Felix Ortiz. So yeah, thank you so much really to A.C. Coble for sending me a copy of Conspiracy. I think I will definitely read this one next year. And yeah, this is the front page, and as you can see, this is signed by the author. But that's not all, because this project, this Kickstarter project for Conspiracy, is handled by James Sullivan, the son of Michael J. Sullivan and also Robin Sullivan, meaning that Conspiracy is handled through the Ryria Enterprise. When I got this book, apparently I got another copy of something, and that is Fairyland. Look at this. This is the Fairyland leatherbound edition. I got this one together inside the box. So thank you so much to Michael J. Sullivan and Robin Sullivan for including a special edition of Fairyland inside this book mail. And yeah, this looks gorgeous. This has the cover art by Mark Simonetti as the end paper, and this edition is of course also signed by Michael J. Sullivan. Fairyland is the second book in the Rise and Fall trilogy, and this trilogy will be one of my priority series to read in 2023. And again, this artwork by Mark Simonetti I think looks super beautiful, and my friends have actually mentioned that Fairyland is one of Michael J. Sullivan's best work, and I look forward to reading it in 2023. And this cover art I think is done by Michael J. Sullivan and also Robin Sullivan's daughter, and I think it looks beautiful, looks super beautiful. It's unfortunate though that my copy of Nolan is the standard edition, but hey, I'm not complaining. I got the copy of Nolan and also Fairyland sent to me by Michael J. Sullivan and also Robin Sullivan, both of them signed, and I got them for free to read and review. So yeah, I'm not complaining. And as a bonus, I also got these 3 bookmarks of Nolan, Fairyland, and of course of Conspiracy, the first book in Warhide. And then the next published fantasy books that I got is an entire trilogy, and this is the Shadow Knight trilogy by Michael Webb. This is the first book, The Last Shadow Knight, and then this is the second book, Rise of the Shadow, and then finally the third book is The Shadow of Destiny. I've heard from the author that this is a YA fantasy trilogy, but it will also work well for adult fantasy readers, so I think this will be a crossover fantasy just like Mistborn. Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson I think is a series that works absolutely well for YA or adult fantasy readers, and I think this trilogy will be something similar to that, I think anyway. So thank you so much to Michael Webb for sending me this entire trilogy. I don't know when I will get to this one yet, but the cover art looks gorgeous, and I have a soft spot for coming of age fantasy stories, so I think I will at least have a good time with reading the Shadow Knights trilogy. And then the next published fantasy book that I got is Dream of Dead City by PJ and Wosu. So yeah, this one I think has been pitched as a Sherlock Holmes inspired dark fantasy novel. That's it. I don't know anything else about Dream of Dead City, but this is the first book in the Red Kingdom series. If you're someone active in the book community, there will be a commenter on our videos, someone named Esme, and Esme read a lot of books, and this is one of her favorite books of all time after she read through it. So I look forward to reading Dream of Dead City, and yeah, I think Esme has great taste. So Esme, if you're watching this, you should really make a BookTube videos. Come on, it's about time. And after that, the next published fantasy book I got is Burn Red Skies by Kirsten Espinosa Rosero. So the author pitched this to me as Suikoden meets Final Fantasy IX. Both of them are some of my favorite games of all time. And yeah, she pitched that as Suikoden 2, which in my opinion is one of the greatest games ever. By pitching this as being inspired by Final Fantasy IX and Suikoden, that's all I need to hear. Seriously, that's all I needed to hear. And I look forward to reading this one. I remember that this actually became one of the finalists, I think, in last year's SPF BO contest, and I think that is a great thing. I look forward to reading this one someday, and thank you so much to Kirsten for sending me a copy of this book. And the next book that I got is a copy of one of my favorite self-published fantasy novel, or novella to be more precise, and that is The Exile by Ryan Cahill. So I've caught up to the entire The Bound and the Broken series, and I think what Ryan Cahill did with The Exile is excellent. I think The Exile is one of the best novella that I've read, and yeah, I love this one so much. Thank you so much to Ryan Cahill for sending me a copy of The Exile. Every single copy I have of The Bound and the Broken has been personalized and signed by Ryan Cahill, and I'm truly grateful because The Bound and the Broken, not only this is one of the best ongoing series right now, I think it has been gaining a lot of traction in the fantasy community, especially if you're into reading classic fantasy with a modern twist. I think you will love this one. It's really good, and I'm truly glad to partake in Ryan Cahill's ambitious first epic fantasy series. Then the next book that I got is another debut novel, and this is A Gamble of Gods by Mitriel Feywood. So I have actually owned an advanced reading copy of A Gamble of Gods for quite a while now, but I haven't gotten around to this one. I've heard that this is a great mix of sci-fi and fantasy in one novel, and Mark Lawrence says that this is Mission Impossible for fantasy readers. I think that is such a great pitch. I don't know when I will get to A Gamble of Gods yet, but so far, everything I've heard from readers who have gave this book a try, all of them pretty much enjoyed it, and I hope that when I'm in the right mood to read A Gamble of Gods, I really hope that I will enjoy this one as well, because I usually end up enjoying reading a science fantasy novel. This is the first book in the Order of the Dragon series, and the naked hardback looks really beautiful. I think I somehow, even though this is very simple, I think I actually like this naked hardback design even more than the actual hardcover design. Somehow, I don't even know why, but yeah, this looks really beautiful. I hope to read this one someday. Thank you so much to Mitriel Feywood for entrusting me with your debut novel. And finally, the last self-published fantasy book that I got this month is a copy of The Crew by Sadir S. Samir. So yeah, this one has been pitched as Kings of the Wild meets Deadpool. So I think I will have a great time reading this one. Kings of the Wild is one of my favorite books of all time. It is fun, entertaining, and wholesome, and also intense at times. And I think this book, The Crew, based on the reviews and opinions that I've heard so far, I think The Crew will emulate something like that. I look forward to reading this one. Thank you so much, Sadir, for sending me a copy of The Crew. Thank you so much, really. And just like A Gamble of Gods, there is a naked hardback design to this one. Ta-da! And inside, it is written by Sadir Samir to Petrik. Thank you for everything you do for the SFF community. You are our champion. And I'm always grateful to every single one of you, and of course, every single self-published fantasy author who keep on sending me books to read and review. Moving on to the final section of this book haul video, I'm going to show you all the books that I got from traditional publisher or booksellers. And the first one is For the Voyage of the Forgotten by Nick Martell. This is the third book, the third and final book in the Legacy of the Mercenary Kings trilogy. Originally, this was planned to be a 5-book series, but I think the author has mentioned that this has become a trilogy. This is the US edition. The cover art is done by Benjamin Carre, and yeah, this looks super beautiful. I really enjoyed the first book, The Kingdom of Liars, and then the second book, I didn't like it as much as the first book, and I really hope that this third book, The Voyage of the Forgotten, will deliver a satisfying conclusion to the trilogy. And then the next books that I got, this is immediately 4 books, and this is a box set for Elric graphic novel adaptation by Juliel Blondell. So I've read only the first 2 graphic novels of this graphic novel adaptation, and I really enjoyed it. I think the artwork looks absolutely beautiful, super beautiful, and even Michael Moorcock himself says that, and he thinks that the graphic novel adaptation is actually even better than his novels. And I think that is a super high praise. I haven't read the main novels yet, so I cannot compare, and I look forward to comparing them after I read the graphic novels again and also read the main novels. But for now, I just want to say thank you so much to Titan Comics for sending me these 4 books, this box set of hardcovers. Then the next 3 books that I got is an entire trilogy from the Broken Binding, and it is for one of my favorite trilogies of all time, and it is the Lycanius trilogy by James Islington. This is The Shadow of What Was Lost, the first book, and then this is, this is the second book, An Echo of Things to Come, and then finally, the third book, The Light of All That Falls. Just to make things easier for your viewing experience so you can see how beautiful these 3 look together, I'm going to put some images here. So this way you can see the cover art, you can see the spray edges, you can see the naked hardback, and you can see the quotes being put on the back as well. And guess what? The broken binding actually asked me to choose the quotes being used as the back cover for An Echo of Things to Come and The Light of All That Falls. And I'm really glad they went with my pick because I truly love these quotes from the books. So thank you so much to the broken binding for sending me a hardcover copy of the Lycaenia trilogy. And I also got a copy of The Lost Metal, which is one of my favorite books of the year. The Lost Metal was one of my most anticipated books of the year, and now that I've read it, I think this one definitely lived up to my high expectation. It actually exceeded my high expectation. And thank you so much to Gollancz for sending me a hardcover copy of The Lost Metal. This is the UK edition, excluding Mistborn Secret History novella. This is indeed my first UK hardcover for a book in the Mistborn saga by Brandon Sanderson, one of my favorite series, really. Thank you so much to Gollancz for sending me a finished copy of The Lost Metal. The cover art by Sam Green plus the white background looks so neat, and I absolutely love this cover art. And finally, the last book in this book haul video will be an Illumicrate book. This is for their October box of the month from Beyond That. This will also be, for a while anyway, the last time I featured an Illumicrate book because my term with them has ended and I'm grateful. Thank you so much to Illumicrate for allowing me to be your rep for an entire year. But this doesn't mean forever. I might end up becoming a rep someday again, but this is it for now. So the first item inside this box is What's Among Dreamers blanket with a design by Yoshi Yoshitani. I'm going to just use picture here so you can see how beautiful this blanket is. This is inspired by Strange the Dreamer. Wrap up warm this winter season with this cozy blanket featuring multiple elements from the widely loved Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. After that, I also got an underworld teacup and saucer designed by Neil Grant. Our final Greek mythology inspired teacup features none other than the king and queen of the underworld, Hades and Persephone, whose love certainly transcends death itself. And this is the teacup. This is the box, and I'm going to show you the cup. Ta-da! Hold on. I'm going to open this now. And yeah, this is the teacup. And this is the box for the saucer. I'm going to open it now. Ta-da! So you put the teacup here. Ta-da! And that was supposed to be an Into the Borderlands papercraft kit, but it hasn't arrived yet, designed by Rosie Thorns. And the last item inside this box is Blood and Death cable ties, designed by Stacey McAvoy. And this is the cable tidy set inspired by In the Ravenous Dark. And finally for the book, I got The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrew. This is, I'm using the reverse dust jacket because I think it looks even better than the actual cover art. This is the back cover, this is the front cover, this is the spray edges, looks beautiful. And I heard that this is a dark academia novel. I haven't read The Ninth House yet, but I've read and love Babel. So maybe someday when I read this one, I hope that I will love this one as much as I love Babel. And this is also the beautiful end paper to this book. I look forward to reading this someday. Thank you so much to Illumicrate for sending me a copy of your book again. If you're interested in their 3 months and 6 months subscription, make sure to use my code Petrik5 for a discount. So that's it for today's book haul video. That's a lot of books. 23 books is a lot of books in a month. And I'm always grateful to my friends, to every single authors, self-published fantasy authors, and also publishers for sending me books to read and review. I never can't have enough books to read, and now I keep on getting so many gorgeous and awesome sounding books every month, and I look forward to reading every single book in this book haul video that I haven't read yet. So yeah, that's it for today's book haul video. Do let me know which books that you think looks the best here and which one caught your interest, and do tell me how many books you got this month. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.